Hello and welcome to the special coverage of the much anticipated season in the year from Bahrain International Circuit. We and the world are set as the Kingdom of Bahrain is hosting the Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix 2022. Today is the day of the race with a lot lined up for the Formula One fans in Bahrain and around the world. Stay tuned, we'll be back with more right after this. Hello and welcome back. Bahrain International Airport has already finalized preparations to accommodate the predicted spike in visitor numbers for this year's Formula One Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix and has ensured they receive a warm Bahraini welcome. The airport is well prepared to ensure that this year marks another successful chapter in the kingdom's history of hosting the Formula One's drivers and fans according to best travel and hospitality standards. To know more about that, we are pleased to be joined by Vice President of Bahrain Airport Operations, Mr. Ali Rashid. Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us here at this special program.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Mr. Ali, can you tell us about the significance of hosting such a vital international sports event here in the Kingdom?
Yeah. Formula One or the Grand Prix is an elite sport, and the statistics speaks for itself. They have more than 500 million fans. During the race, there's more than 1.8 billion people watching the broadcast. For any country or the 21 hosting nations, I think the event represents both exposure and economic driver. It stimulates the economy, and for us, we are lucky because in Q1 for the airport in particular, this is the quietest season, while Formula One comes and boosts the figures, number of passengers and flights.
Of course, and just like you mentioned, as operators of the Kingdom's National Gateway, what can you tell us about the preparations for this year's edition of the Formula One or for this race? Since you mentioned it's a quiet season and then it comes in and boosts the tourism in the
That's
Kingdom.
right. Like all the 18 races in Bahrain, Bahrain International Airport is an active member of the national committee that facilitates the Grand Prix events. So it started with our participation in the first national meeting held by BIC, along with all entities, national entities, and the organizers in the kingdom. So following the first meeting, we created our own working group, and we call it a pit stop airport, because we would like to simulate what happens during the pit stop in the Grand Prix race, but at the airport at a slower pace.
Yeah.
So basically, we started to look at the flight schedule, the expected loads, and this year we have actually, it's a 1 month event for the airport, not just the 3 days. We've just finished handling the practice sessions, and the groups departed, I think, 3 days ago. Alhamdulillah, everything went smooth, and we are expecting 55 additional flights for the coming race this weekend.
So again, it's like the start of a new season, new era, new car. So definitely everyone is making their way to the Kingdom of Bahrain.
That's right.
What can you tell us about what makes this year, or in terms of preparations, this year unique in comparison to the previous seasons or previous years?
Right, this is the first year we have a race post-COVID-19. We all remember that traveling through the airport, you had to go through the COVID-19 area, which was another added process to the arrivals. This year, we will not have COVID-19, so the fans, the crew, and the media will experience the normal or traditional airport experience. We have arranged for dedicated counters at immigration and customs for fans and for teams and media groups. We have also converted some of our taxiways to host the additional fixed base operations because we expect an increased number of flights this year.
Adding on to that, can you talk about the airport's cooperation with other institutions to ensure a successful, let's say, event?
Yes, our collaboration extends, by the way, we have more than 20 stakeholders working at the airport. Among them, we have the passport control, we have customs, MOI police, and airlines, the ground handler, and so on. In addition to that, we coordinate with the charter operators. We have 3 or 4 major charter operators that will facilitate the scheduling the flights, receiving passengers, and departing as well. This year it's unique as well because post the race we'll be organizing flights to Jeddah. Because post Bahrain the next race will happen in Jeddah, so we have a very busy schedule the next day for the next 2 days for organizing flights leaving to Jeddah. And by the way, we have one 380 flight booked or scheduled to operate on 21st to Dubai.
Wow,
yeah.
So it's a busy time for the airport.
Time, yes.
And speaking about the busy time, we also talked about the testing being hosted a week before, and then we have the race and then Jeddah. Are there any specific preparations being held in order to facilitate a smooth, let's say, experience for the tourists?
Right, I must recognize the comments that was mentioned in one of the races 2 years ago. They described the airport experience with one word: slick. And we are actually have a challenge this year to maintain this status. We have an outstanding processing time for passengers, baggage, and crew. This year, I think the volume compared to last year is far more. I think I would say 200% more than the usual.
Wow.
In addition to that, for the first time in, I would say, 3 years, we'll be receiving fans. There's a group called the Orange Army, organized by Bahrain Tourism Authority, and we'll be arranging special welcome for them. And hopefully they will leave Bahrain with the greatest memory, inshallah.
Okay, so aside from the Formula One, we also have the F2 and the F3.
Yes.
Can you talk about the visitors' experience coming in? Like, were there any specific preparations held for that?
As I said, this race comes at the time where the airport is usually quiet. However, we have picked up some peaks, and we are in close coordination with airlines and Bahrain International Circuit Committee. Whenever we are made aware of any groups or specific groups coming for the race, we extend our services and make sure that their processing or journey through the airport goes smoothly. So close coordination. As soon as we are aware of any group, you will see the working group and the processing channels all set up for them.
And you mentioned something interesting previously. You said you want to mimic what happens on the track in terms of a pit stop in the airport. Can you walk us through that?
Well, throughout the years, this becomes a tradition in Bahrain International Airport. Once we have the indication that, like when the car comes and slows down to the pit, whenever we know there's a movement coming for Formula One, we just switch the button. And everyone it's like a domino effect. It starts from the curbside, check-in, immigration, boarding gate, and so on. So the harmony that the teamwork at the airport when it comes to customer handling, especially for Formula One, is, I think, something unique in Bahrain.
Of course, and you also talked about Bahrain having an Orange Army. Is there anything else in terms, or let's say, dedicated to the other teams?
We were made aware of large groups coming from Europe, and for the first time, actually, I think following the last race in Saudi, we see a group of fans arriving from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So this is the first time for us to receive groups from Saudi, who will obviously depart to Saudi after the race. So this year is quite unique in terms of the customer demography. We have, in addition to the usual European traffic, we have the Saudis arriving this year, inshallah.
And in terms of, let's talk about let's say the visitors' experience coming in and out of the airport. Was it made different specifically for the Formula One or for this season?
Yes, you can see there's different advertisements throughout the airport in coordination with Bahrain International Circuit. The dedicated signs for immigration and customs are visible at the airport. And as we get closer to the race dates, you will see more surprises at the airport.
Cannot wait. Thank you so much, Mr. Ali. Is there anything you'd like to add before we conclude this interview?
I would like to thank you for the opportunity, and I would like to thank Bahrain International Circuit Committee and the whole team actually working on this event. I think it's a national pride, and we're all proud of every single individual working for this event. So I'd like to thank them all.
Thank you so much. And with that, we're sure that all resources are in place to streamline the movement of passengers and cargo in an efficient and timely manner and provide the friendly and efficient service that Bahrain International Airport is renowned for. Stay tuned with us. We will be back after this short break. New cars, new rules, new driver lineups. Formula One is back this weekend, and it all starts with the Bahrain Grand Prix, where the world's best drivers come together for a once-in-a-generation event. And with the F1 fever gripping the kingdom, the McLaren regional headquarters opened its doors for an exclusive Q&A event with racing superstar Lando Norris.
For us today is a fantastic opportunity to show our partnership with McLaren Racing. As McLaren Automotive, they are a family member, if I could say that. And today we've had an opportunity to bring Lando in. Unfortunately, Daniel couldn't be with us, along with Mark Norris, and share a little bit about the exciting season ahead. If we look back at 2021, a fantastic year for McLaren. Finished fourth in the Constructors' Championship, and I think we're optimistic for 2022, an exciting year.
So for sure, this is our home turf. Bahrain is our home turf. We're also lucky that Bahrain Grand Prix will kick off the season of such a fabulous sport that actually getting more and more fans day by day. We all have seen the last season excitement, and I'm sure this season will not be less excitement with the new era. That also reflected on our automotive part. We are also expecting a fantastic new product here, and I'm sure that Bahrain will be one of the first market globally to see it, which is the Artura, our first V6 hybrid car, supercar that actually going to be introduced soon to the market, and the Bahraini market will be one of the first in the world to receive this car.
Since its inception, the F1 Bahrain Grand Prix has been marked as one of the region's biggest sporting occasions, and the whole country has once again been delighted to welcome teams and fans back to the kingdom. This year's Bahrain Grand Prix will be the opening round of the 2022 FIA F1 World Championship, and it will usher in a new era in the top flight from the 18th to the 20th of March at the home of motorsport in the Middle East in Skhir. Reporting for Bahrain International, I'm Yasmin Ibrahim. Hello and welcome back. The General Directorate of Traffic prepared a comprehensive traffic plan for the Bahrain Grand Prix Formula One in order to ensure traffic safety on the roads, especially those leading to the F1 venue. All procedures to implement the plan had been activated for the protection of all. To know more about that, we are pleased to be joined through phone by the Head of Media and Publishing Division at the General Directorate of Traffic, Captain Fayez Amin. Hello and welcome to this special coverage, Mr. Fayez.
Good evening, Yasmin. Thank you for hosting us, and I hope that the information given would be useful to the viewers and audience.
Of course, Mr. Faiz, the General Directorate of Traffic at the Ministry of Interior has prepared a comprehensive traffic plan to ensure smooth movement from and to the event venue. Can you talk more about it?
The Director General of the General Directorate of Traffic, Sir Brigadier Sheikh Abdul Rahman bin Abdul Wahab Al Khalifa, assured that following the directives of His Excellency Sir Minister of Interior in achieving success of the Kingdom of Bahrain hosting of the Bahrain Grand Prix Formula 1. All traffic flow arrangements are implemented, facilitating the entry and exit from and into the Bahrain International Circuit with the assurance of traffic safety on the roads through the traffic police's presence over the 3 days of the race. So as the last day of the Formula 1 event and in context of ensuring the safety and smoothness of the public exit, the traffic will be directed to the one-way flow, with the spread of patrols and the traffic points starting from the Bahrain International Circuit parking, passing through the Gulf of Bahrain Road and then deviating on the Zallag Road towards Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway, or proceeding on Zallag Street towards Awali. As for drivers arriving from Al Areen and Al Jazair beach area, they will be entering the Zallag area from Al Areen Park traffic signal and divert to Zaid bin Umaira Road and continue in direction to Hamad Town, exiting Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway. And I would like to notify the audience that the roundabout 22 and 18 in Hamad Town will be closed during that time, and drivers can use roundabout 14 and 6 to exit into Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway.
Of course, and I'm sure all those plans set in place is going to ensure a safe and efficient flow of traffic to and from the venue. Which brings me to my other question. What is your advice for citizens, residents, and visitors?
Yes, we would like to remind the audience to head to the circuit early and make sure to place the parking sticker in a clear place to facilitate their entry to the circuit and to cooperate with the traffic police at the site of the event. Follow their instructions to ensure their safety and ensure the success of the event. An office has been allocated in the parking number 10 to handle minor accidents in the circuit, and we hope that there will be no accidents. Thank you so much and drive safe.
Thank you, Captain Faiz Amin, the Head of Media and Publishing Division at the General Directorate of Traffic, for being with us. And we'd like to note that F1 fans are advised to arrive early at the venue, follow traffic rules, and avoid rushing out in order to ensure smooth traffic flow and safety of all. Stay tuned with us. We will be back after this short break.
In order to ensure a smooth traffic flow during the final day of Formula 1 Gulf Air Bahrain Grand Prix. On March 20th, the General Directorate of Traffic announces that all lanes will be changed into one direction if necessary, immediately after the end of the race, as follows. From the car parks of Bahrain International Circuit, passing through Gulf of Bahrain Road and then diverting to Zallag Avenue towards Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway, or continuing on Zallag Avenue towards Awali. Drivers coming from Al Jazair Beach and Al Areen must use the Zallag area exit through the traffic light of Al Areen. Drivers who will exit Hamad Town on Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway must use the exit of roundabout 6 and 14. Traffic coming from Sheikh Khalifa bin Salman Highway towards Zallag will be diverted to the entrance of roundabout 18. Note that Zallag Avenue will be closed for drivers coming from Al Muaskar Avenue and Sheikh Salman Avenue towards Awali roundabout. General Directorate of Traffic wish you safety.
This brings us to the end of this coverage. Hosting the first race of the season with so much changes in racing rules is a testimony of Bahrain's outstanding performances in motorsports events. This is also reflected by the continuation of Formula One to race in Bahrain until at least the year 2036, following an extension of the contract with the race's promoter, the Bahrain International Circuit. This is all from us today. Thank you for watching and enjoy the race. Goodbye.